Hi, welcome to Guiding Light. In this video, we'll talk about numbers. If you're preparing for any MBA examination, this is very important. Many questions do come from this section, and also having a deep understanding of this particular section will help you in places like geometry and things like ratio proportion, algebra. Before starting off, let me tell you that this is for the first time that I am recording myself. To me, I have to, befriend with this inanimate object called camera. Even though I know many of you will be watching me, right? So I'm pretty nervous, right? And I may come across as a person who is pretty camera shy. So forgive me for that. I hope you like the video. I hope you understand the topic. If you do, please like the video, share it in your network, post a comment, ask any question regarding the subject or anything else on life, philosophy. We'll be happy to answer. And I just hope you do well. Right? Okay. So numbers. Right. So numbers are of two types: real and imaginary. Okay, so let me write it down. Real and imaginary. Forgive me for my writing. This is not pen. Even this is beautiful. Right? When I write with a pen, that is uglier than this. So real numbers and imaginary numbers. Real numbers are real numbers. They are there. We deal with them every day. Every day of our lives are surrounded by numbers. So real numbers are actually those numbers which can be represented on number line. Okay, so a number line is a line which extends from infinity, minus infinity, to positive infinity, and this is 0, this is 1, this is 2, plus 1, plus 2, minus 1, minus 2, and so on. So any number which can be represented on this line is a real number, right? So take any number, 1, minus 2, 2 by 3, 0.5, any number. So 1 is over here, minus 2 is there, 2 by 3 is, 0.5 will be this, right? Between, just in the middle between 0 and 1, and 2 by 3 will be greater than 0.5 but lesser than 1, so somewhere over here, right? This is 2 by 3. What are imaginary numbers? Imaginary numbers are abstract numbers. They have been a product of the thought experiments by mathematicians. So imaginary numbers are not there in the real world. We don't deal with them. These are like under root of any negative number is an imaginary number, right? So for the purpose of MBA examinations, this is out of syllabus. You don't have to deal with them. Unless, of course, you are sitting for IIT or any other engineering examination. This is pretty important, So this is it, right? Real and imaginary. So while I rub this off, let me ask you this. What are numbers, in the first place? What are numbers? We talked about real numbers. Real numbers are there in the practical world, they are there in the real world. But what are numbers? And when you answer this question, like some of you would say that 1, the number 1 is an integral addition to 0, right? And so on. 2 is plus 2 relative to 0. So what is 0? And now that is a very philosophical question. What is 0? What is nothingness? What is the void? So try it out. Try thinking about 0, what 0 is. If there is any 0, just think about it. So then real numbers are classified into rational and irrational. Okay, So rational numbers are numbers which can be represented in p by q form. Small p over small q. This is fractional form, right? Where q is not equal to 0. Okay? So, for example, take any number, right? 2. So, how can we, make this in p by q form? Simple. Just put 1 as in place of q, and that is 2 by 1, which is equal to 2. And this is rational. So, what are irrational numbers? Irrational numbers cannot be put, obviously, that is the obvious answer, They cannot be put in p by q form. And these are numbers like pi, right? These are like under root 2 or under root of anything. Okay? So, in our school lives, we often use the value of 22 by 7 as the value of pi. This is an approximation, This is not the exact value of pi. Pi's value, the 3.14, this thing extends till infinity. Right? Great mathematicians have spent their lives to approximate the value of this integer portion to thousands of digits. So we cannot have a certain value of irrational numbers. Okay? So again, while rubbing this off, let me tell you one thing very interesting. Irrational numbers are huge in number. So if this box represents our universe, which is full of numbers, these dots are rational numbers, and the empty space between them, this whole space is full of irrational numbers. Why don't we get to know this? Because in our daily life we don't use irrational numbers. How many of us use pi when we buy vegetables at Big Bazaar or at a local flea market? We don't, right? So, okay, moving on to more serious stuff. Rational numbers are divided into integers and fractions. Okay, so integers are without any fractional or any decimal portion. These are numbers like -2, 1, 2, 3, 4, anything. So is 2.5 an integer? No. Integers are integral. They cannot be broken down. 1 is an integral form, You're getting the point, right? You're getting the picture. It cannot be broken into a decimal portion, 0.5 or 0.5 again, or 4, 6 or 4. Okay? Fractions, on the other hand, are numbers which are in p by q form, where q is not equal to 0. Right? So take any number, take any fraction, 2 by 3, 4 by 5, 6 by 9. We can re-simplify it, right? We divide it by 3, and this is 2, and this is 3. Anything. So these are integers, these are fractions. Okay, so there are integers, there are negative integers, there are positive integers. Is 0 a negative integer or a positive integer? Well, 0 is neither of the two. 0 is neither negative nor positive. Okay, so you need to remember this thing. Moving on to fractions. Fractions are divided into 3 categories. First are proper fractions. Second, improper. And third, mixed. So proper fractions are fractions whose denominator portion is greater than the numerator. So 2 by 3, 4 by 5. The reverse is true for improper fractions. Here denominator is lesser, or in other words numerator is greater than the denominator. For example, 11 by 5, 8 by 3. Okay? And mixed fractions have a portion of natural number in them. So for example, 2, 1 by 3. Okay? So how do we convert mixed into proper? Simple. We multiply the denominator with the natural portion, in this case 3 and 2, and we add the numerator and then again divide by the denominator. Okay? So do this thing with me. 3 into 2, 6 plus 1, 7 by 3. Okay? 7 by 3. We can again divide it off to convert into mixed. 7 by 3. Okay? So 3 2s are 6. Remainder 1. 1 by 3. Right? So, moving on to integers. Integers are divided into, again, we're dividing so many numbers. Integers are now into natural and whole. So what are natural numbers? All of us start counting from 1, right? We don't include 0. So natural numbers start from 1, 2, 3 and so on. Whole numbers are whole in nature, right? So this includes 0, 1, 2, 3 and so on. Okay? Okay, so now we move on to a very important concept which many of us would have studied in our school, in 6th or 7th standard, but this applies in your examinations like GMAT, CAT and ZAT. These are even and odd numbers. Simple, right? So, even numbers. Even numbers are numbers which are fully divided by 2. They don't leave any remainder. So they are of the form 2k, with k is any whole number. Okay? Or let's say any integer, negative number. They can be even. Okay. Odd leave a remainder, and they are of the form 2k plus minus 1. So 2 is even, 0 is even, 4 is even, 3, 5, 7 are odd. Right? So this is the easy part. The important part is when even and odd numbers interact with each other. Okay? So odd plus minus odd will always give even. When this thing comes, just do a quick calculation in your mind using sample numbers. So take 3 plus minus 3. It has to be even, and this is either 6 or 0. These are even, right? Now when odd multiply into odd, these are not even. This is odd. 3 into 3 will lead to 9 every time an odd number. Okay? So what will happen when even add or subtract an even number? What will happen? It will give an even number. 2 plus minus 2 will either give 4 or 0. Right? And what will happen if they multiply? It will be even. It will again give 4. You're getting this, right? Just make a quick mental calculation when this comes. course, this kind of question won't come. What is even into even? The application part is integral to examinations like GMAT and CAT, and you have to, this thing has to be there in your fundamentals. This is the most fundamental part of number system. One of the most fundamental parts. So what will happen when odd multiply by even? They produce even. 3 into 2 is 6. When even plus minus odd, what will it give? It will give odd. 4 plus minus 1 is either 3, it is either 5 or 3. Okay? So the next category of numbers are prime numbers. Prime numbers are numbers who are either divided by the number itself or by 1. Okay? So let's say number like 3 or 11 or maybe 5 and 7 in between. These are just examples. So let's say just one example, 5. What are the factors, what are the numbers which divide 5 fully? 1 and 5. Not in the case of 6, which is another set of numbers, composite numbers. It is divided by 1, 2, 3, 6. Okay? So the important aspect of prime numbers is one a prime number or a composite number? Well, 1 is neither prime nor composite. You need to learn this thing because this thing can be asked in assertion reasoning questions. 1 is neither neither prime nor composite. Okay? Okay, so one of the things, one of the tricks we use while cracking these numericals is that most of the times you can be certain that a number is a prime if it is of the form 6k plus minus 1. Of course, the number has to be greater than 3. So take 5 for example. This is of the form 6 into 1 minus 1. Take 11. This is 6 into 2 minus 1. Take 13. This is 6 into 2 plus 1. This is again a trick. This is not foolproof. This is not a law. But then, in order to pass an examination, you need marks. You need to get. You need to have some pragmatism, some practicality, and this gives you that. Right? You can use that. But it's not a law. You cannot write a paper on that. Okay? So we come to the end of the first part of the lecture, first part of the video regarding number system. Hope you enjoyed, hope you got the basics. I hope many of you have left your studies many years back and are preparing for CAT and XAT and of course GMAT. So I hope this video helped. Please like it, comment on it and move on to the next video. Thank you.